All right, let's see if we get up on all of our platforms. Right here, let's see. All right, it looks like we're up and running. Good evening, everyone. I'm your lawyer, Patrick McGeehan, and I am your best friend at your worst time. Welcome to the weekly update. Running a little bit behind today because we had some Zoom meetings that we ran over just a little bit. We are up on several platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, and on Instagram at this moment. So hopefully we're up on running on all of them. We're trying to run on all those. So your weekly update, what's going on in South Florida? Well, most importantly to me is they're thinking about opening the boat ramp sometime soon. So that means I get to go fishing. Apparently there's going to be, according to the mayor's last comment, there's going to be a phased in kind of reopening plan of the county. But they're not going to reopen beaches anytime soon. So, but the good thing is they are opening boat ramps in some parks, and social distancing requirements will be in effect. On court updates, let me get over to that screen. Court updates out of Miami-Dade County. Update today that in domestic violence court, domestic violence bond hearings and emergency hearings will be held on Zoom virtual court platform starting tomorrow. So bond hearings for domestic violence cases that are originally heard at the Justice Building will be taking place on Zoom starting Wednesday, April 22nd. They're assigning a division judge from domestic violence to cover a week's bonds hearing and emergency motions on a rotating basis. Also, there are orders for DV Zoom bonds and emergency hearings, DV bond and emergency hearing protocols, and an administrative memo issued by the chief judge in Miami-Dade County, several of them pertaining to Zoom hearings. They have protocols in place in criminal, probate, circuit civil, and county civil for the introduction of evidence in remote hearings. So there's instructions on how to get your evidence in on a remote hearing. And it looks like we're going that way. We haven't had any evidentiary hearings yet or any major evidentiary hearings, certainly no trials yet on Zoom. We've had a bunch of administrative stuff and motion calendar cases that have been called up on Zoom, and they've worked okay. I mean, they worked very well. I wish more judges would get on so we can move cases along. It seems as though the lawyers are all up and running with the Zoom technology and able to do hearings. And we're kind of waiting on the judges to get on board so they can do it also. So that's where they stand. Also, in Miami-Dade County, there's a pilot program. This was an information that was put out last Friday, a pilot program launching on April 30th that will allow drivers to resolve civil traffic, not criminal traffic tickets, without coming to court. And it provides information as well as, what kind of cases they're going to have. It's civil infraction citations for proof of insurance, driver's license, auto registration. Those are non-moving. I don't know if it's going to be moving and non-moving, such as speeding or whatever. If you request a trial, they would have to do a trial on Zoom. So I'm guessing it's only going to cover non-moving, but it doesn't specifically say in here. And let's see what else. I mean, if you get a ticket for one of those, for sure, it'll be easier to resolve. I mean, you could just, you know, if you get a ticket for no proof of insurance and you have insurance, you should be able to show them your insurance that was in force at the time of the citation. Maybe you didn't have your card with you. Florida requires you to carry an insurance card, either in physical form or on your phone. They'll take a digital. Driver's license, same way. If you left your driver's license home, DL not carried under the 316 statute as opposed to the 322 statute. Or auto registration, if your vehicle was registered and it's current at the time, but for some reason you didn't have your vehicle registration with you, you should be able to get those cases resolved very quickly. And you may want to file in your own case. If you don't have an attorney in the case, you may want to file a copy of those in advance of any hearing that comes up. So if you're interested in that, just go to the Miami-Dade court's website and they'll provide that information. Otherwise, everything else looks still the same. Looks like we're going to be closed at least until May 29th, although they are trying to get everybody up and running on Zoom. I mean, I've had some cases with judges where we've done more than one hearing, and then some divisions, some judges are just not on it, and I'm not sure why. In Broward County, got an interesting one in Broward County. Let me get over there to Broward. The chief judge put out, it's not an order, let's call it a memo. Let me get down there too. And it's, I mean, I knew this was coming because of an article in the newspaper last week about attorneys showing up, let's put it improperly, dressed for their court hearings. Find it here. All right, apparently in Broward County, not only are they showing up, attorneys apparently showing up improperly dressed. I think in the article it said somebody showed up in a bikini poolside for a hearing. Somebody was literally in bed under covers for a hearing, and some guy showed up without a shirt on. But apparently they're having decorum problems with the cases, and the chief judge up there is ordering everybody to, you know, be nice to each other. Let me see if this, be nice to each other, come properly dressed for court. Let's see what he says here. Chief judge got a number of inquiries regarding clarification of contents of a letter that was sent out regarding dress decorum and other matters in Zoom hearings. Apparently he wasn't aware of the letter that went out originally. And he's reminding everybody, most of all, in these hearings are open to the public, and thus everyone, including judges and general magistrates, should dress and behave accordingly. That's an interesting little tidbit coming out of Broward County. Broward County is, for some reason, always a little different world up there, different things going on. And let's go over to Palm Beach County. In Palm Beach County, the courts, they stress on their webpage that the courts are open, everybody's working, but you're not going to be allowed in unless you're there for something essential. The essential hearings, the bond hearings and the DV hearings and stuff like that. They have a whole protocol on what happens when you have to go to court on an essential matter. They will take your temperature at the door. They're advising you one case at a time, goes into court, everybody stands outside, stands away from each other. I mean, just basically common sense in the environment we live in today, I suppose. Nothing strange or outrageous. Palm Beach County and Dade County run pretty much similar in their orders and memos, I guess you would say. It's just Broward County has some strange twist every now and then for some reason. That's your update from the courts as far as jails. Everybody asked about jail, so I'll go ahead and get to it. Get over to that screen. All right, in Dade County Jail as of yesterday, here's what we have. We have a slight uptick in bookings, had 77 bookings yesterday. We've been running lower than that. We've been running, see, they had 77, and before that they had less than 50 on the, looks like the 19th. And it's just been running everywhere from low 90s to mid 50s, whereas a normal day we would run, between 100 and 200. So we're running about half the population or half the bookings in the Dade County Jail. Total inmates released 85. So they brought in 77, they released 85. Net loss of what? 8. What else is interesting in here? 92% of them are male, 8% of them are female. Most people, let's see. Age range, if you're interested in age range in jail, the highest age range is 25 to 34. Most people are in there for felonies. The longest resident at Dade County Jail has been in there for 5,177 days. All the interesting things that go on in the Dade County Jail. There you have it. There's your jail populations. As far as the law firm running, we're up and running. We have seen that last week and this week a steady increase in family law cases coming in. A lot of the people that are calling are unaware that the courts are actually working. They think the courts are totally closed, but they're not. The courts are actually working. New cases are being filed all the time, and we are able to file matters in all family law cases. Domestic violence cases are pretty much handled the same way they were. The courthouse is open for domestic violence petitioners. So if you were wondering what the status of family court is up and running, and cases can be filed and handling, and we're moving them along as much as we can. Like I said, we've seen a steady uptick in family law cases coming in last week and this week, and domestic violence, a pretty sharp, more than average that we had before this whole lockdown thing hit. We're getting more domestic violence cases, both criminal and injunction related cases. As far as criminal cases, they're trickling in because very few things are going on in those cases. They're not even, I checked on a couple of them today, they're not even setting arraignments for those cases yet. So I don't see anything going on in criminal arraignments until at least June 1st or well after. The Supreme Court in the previous order last month has suspended most criminal time limits in cases, with very few exceptions, and arraignments and trials were one of them. So all those time limits are suspended, and basically criminal cases are just sitting. Now they are getting up on Zoom, but they seem to be a little bit slower. We did get notification today of a Zoom criminal hearing that's occurring in 2 weeks from now, so we'll let you know how that goes. That's it for the updates. Other than that, I'm interested to hear how are you doing with this lockdown situation, these stay-at-home orders. It seems that, at least in Miami and Dade County, Florida, they're looking to reopen things. I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'm not sure anybody knows how it's going to go. But I don't know how it's going to go, but we know that they are going to open boat ramps soon so we can get out on the boat and do a little fishing. But apparently they're only going to let one boat in at a time. And they're going to open parks and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes, and what to make of it when it gets rolling and everything. I'm interested in to hear what you're doing. If you're doing anything novel, let me know. Always interested in new ideas. Like a lot of us, we're kind of getting bored and wondering what to do. What I have found out is working remotely I'm a lot more efficient. I'm able to get a lot more done during the day, and I'm getting caught, surprisingly getting caught up in cases, which is almost unheard of. But it's an interesting concept, and I'll report on how that goes. So if you're doing something novel, you found out a fun activity to do while you're in quarantine, let me know, because we're always open for new ideas. And on another note, as you may know, I do a weekly live session every Wednesday called Law on the Life Live, where I go over something of interest or explain a topic of interest. And I've got a couple of cases. I'm going to do one of them this Wednesday, tomorrow at 6 p.m. It'll be on YouTube, Instagram, certainly on TikTok, and probably Facebook. And I was a homicide detective before I was a lawyer. So I've seen people killed in like some really strange ways. But this is a case that really jumped out at me. It's a murder case out of Orlando, Florida that is just, I couldn't imagine. Anyway, it's a very interesting case. I'll be covering that case in detail tomorrow. I went the extra step. What I did is I saw the article online and I ordered all the police reports, or all the police reports at least that are available at the time. And I went through the discovery to see what was available, see what interesting things in there. So I'll go over that. We'll break that case down. It's a completely interesting case, and I guarantee you've never heard of a murder like this. The second case, I'll probably go over next week in the live, involves an attempted murder of a Florida sheriff's deputy that has a strange twist. 2 of the deputies in the department were arrested for solicitation of prostitution during the investigation. Find out how that came out, how that started, and a legal twist on the case. It involves shots fired, an injured deputy, a shot deputy. He recovered, he's fine. And we're certainly glad about that. But an interesting development in the criminal case that came out of the Court of Appeals. Very interesting law if you're up on, or you're interested in self-defense or stand your ground or castle doctrine and how that works in Florida. That'll be a very interesting case for you. And we will break that down and review it. I got a lot of the reports and a lot of the motions and stuff in the case. I got those in yesterday, so I'll break that down for you and discuss, have an interesting discussion of how that works, probably next week. But this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, 6 p.m., we'll cover that murder case. And I'm looking forward to that. It's a really interesting case. All right, let's look at questions. What do we have here? All right, on Instagram, 556er says, increase in violent crimes due to COVID-19. I have heard that, and I have seen articles on that, and that's one of the reasons I check the jail report every day in Dade County to see, what's going on and what type of people are brought in. I am not seeing anything that's jumping out as far as violent crimes increase here in Miami. Arrests are way down. What I am guessing is at this time, because of the current situation, is a lot of crimes are going unreported. And I think that's particularly true in domestic violence crimes. I think although we're seeing an uptick, I think a lot of domestic violence is underreported to begin with, but I think this is exacerbating the situation, and domestic violence crimes are being underreported as they are now because people are stuck in houses with their family. All right, let's go over to, see, we got YouTube, we're up and running. No comments on YouTube, no comments on Facebook. Let's go to TikTok where there's always a comment or two. And I'll have to scroll back through here. Just excuse me for a moment. Let me go back through. Let me see how I'm going to do this. I set up my cameras and didn't think about. Okay, so let's scroll back through. Let's see any questions that have come in on TikTok. All right, the circus in the sky. The circus said hi to you. Hello, circus. How are you? Cat lady in training. Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming in, guys. 1-2 skip 2 join. It's a party in here, as it always is, my friend. Miami, the biggest Miami fan. Hello to you, brother. You see, I got my got the UM paraphernalia running today. Got my UM cup, my UM tumbler. So how are you? What is this? Says Bradley Phillips, number 5. This is the weekly update from South Florida. If you're interested in what's going on in Miami, what's going on with me, and what's going on in my law practice, this is the place to be. Jamboy 215, what's up, brother? It's good to see you as always. Bradley Phelps, on your live when you could be getting my homie out of jail, send me his info. I'll see what I could do. But you can't go down for jail visits. The jail's closed for visits, so it's difficult to get in the jail for the visits. CEO of my life, domestic violence spike should not surprise me neither. I knew it would happen. All right, Stephanie Sarah 0821. Bradley Lee Phelps is mentioned. Okay. Miami biggest fan. Do you find the domestic violence numbers surprising? No, I don't. Anytime people are forced to be together or they're together for extended periods of times, and we see this on holidays all the time, there's always a spike in domestic violence after holiday, well, during and after holidays, especially after Christmas and New Year's. There's a very sharp spike in domestic violence arrests and domestic violence incidents. CEO of my life, lost my sanity about 2 weeks ago. I'm right there with you. I'm on the border of going crazy because of boredom and complete insanity. My boredom meter is just like pegging, going. I can't stand it. All right, Miami biggest fan. I'm still doing the normal and mentoring like I have been. That's good. Keep it up. Keep it up. You're doing good. It's always a pleasure to see you in here. Still working too. I know how it is. We are still working here as hard as we can. We're getting a lot of cases out, which is very good, helping a lot of people. All right, let's check the platforms once again. Nothing on YouTube, nothing on Facebook, no questions there, no questions on Instagram, and I think I hit everything on TikTok. So unless you have any other questions, they pop up in the next couple of minutes, we'll go ahead and sign off here and then call it a day. Just remember, I will be on tomorrow, Wednesday, April 22nd at 6 p.m. doing a very cool murder case with actual police reports. I've seen a lot of murders. I've never seen a murder like this case. So it'll be interesting. It's interesting for me. I'm looking forward to going through the reports. So if you like murder, if you like true crime, that'll be the live for you. In addition to that, over the weekend, I had an interview with a workers' comp lawyer who I'm going to render the interview and put it up as soon as I get to it, where he's discussing what happens if you contract the coronavirus while you're working. Is it workman's comp? What does it come under? What if you're a policeman, a nurse, a firefighter, any type of law enforcement, and you come into contact with the coronavirus and you contract it? How's the law going to address that? So we have that coming up, and we also have an insurance expert that I did an interview with that's going to provide some very good information about life insurance, because oftentimes in family law cases, people are required to obtain life insurance policies to secure alimony and child support. So we have that coming up with a lot of good information. I'll get those out as soon as possible. And last week, if you didn't make it, we did an interview with a doctor discussing what to do and what kind of medical treatment to get after an accident. If you've been injured in an accident, check my YouTube channel for that interview with Dr. Aixa Goodrich. She's one of the go-to doctors down here that I use. I send my auto accident victims to for treatment and to document the case for insurance claims and lawsuits. So if that applies to you, you may want to check that out. Lots of good information. Also, if you've ever been interested in going to law school, you want to know what it's like to go to law school, or what it's like to take a law school class, upcoming, I have a class that I taught with 2 other lawyers where I assisted a law school professor, and we taught a class on depositions and hearings, how to prepare clients for depositions and hearings. So if that interests you, you may want to catch that. Be watching for that. I'm not sure when I'll get that up. It'll probably be next week sometime. If you had any interest in law school and you want to find out a little bit, or if you have a case going and you have a deposition or hearing come up, there's a lot of good information in that which may help you in your upcoming hearing or deposition. Other than that, that's it. I saw a couple more come in. Biggest Miami fan. Have a great night. Stay safe, my brother. Is anything being done about the domestic violence since we are all in quarantine? Domestic violence has been, other than domestic violence has been determined by the courts to be one of the essential types of activities the court does. Domestic violence is being handled as it normally has been handled. You can go to the courthouse, they'll let you in, you can file a domestic violence petition, and they are serving those petitions. As a matter of fact, from a couple cases that we've got really recently, they seem to be serving them really, really fast. I don't know if it's because less cases in civil are being filed for the sheriff services to go out and serve them or what, but the service on the respondents has been really, really quick in the last couple cases that came in. That looks like it. Got all platforms covered. I enjoy it. Enjoy it immensely. I'm very humbled that as many people come in and listen to my content. I hope I provide you some good information and some knowledge that will help you in the future. That's what we're all about, providing value for you, the consumer, the follower, and my friends. If you need to contact me, feel free. I practice 3 areas of law, all in Florida. Florida is the only place I'm licensed. I practice family law, criminal defense, and personal injury, specifically car and truck accidents. If you have a question regarding any one of those, feel free to let me know. Or if it's another area of law, I may know somebody that practices that I can refer you to. You can contact me on any of the platforms, DM me or email me. I am on TikTok, Snapchat, Tumblr, and Instagram is the Magic City Lawyer. On Facebook, you can find me at my business page, The Law Offices of Patrick McGeehan, or in my private group, Ask a Florida Divorce Lawyer. If you want to join the group, click on the join. I'll admit you. And we have a lot of information related to family law there and very good discussions there. You can find me on LinkedIn as Patrick McGeehan, your lawyer, and on Twitter at PJ McGeehan Law. And if you have a family law case going and you want to learn how to save some money on attorney's fees, look at that first pinned tweet on my Twitter profile. And there's an ebook on there or a cheat sheet or whatever you want to call it that will show you how to save money on attorney's fees. Thank you all very much. Thank you for coming in and spending a little time with me. I certainly enjoyed it. Everybody have a good night, and I look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Thank you very much.